In this video, I'm going to install Bootstrap and apply it to our website. So by the end of this video, you're going to see a drastic improvement in what the website looks like. Skip to the end of the video and take a look for yourself if you don't believe me. At the end of the video, I'll demo the website and it's going to look much, much better. We'll still have a long way to go, but some of the pages will have been done. So first of all, what is Bootstrap? For those of you who don't know, Bootstrap is, well, there's a description right here. The world's most popular framework for building responsive, mobile-first websites with Bootstrap Content Delivery Network, I believe is the N, and template starter page. Basically what it is it's a bunch of pre-packaged CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, a bunch of stuff that makes your website look better, and it looks better to when people interact with it. So like different highlighting options like that, different icons, navigation bars, footers, all kinds of different stuff. For example, codingwithmitch.com is built using, it's Bootstrap, but it's a special kind of Bootstrap that I had to pay for. But either way, it's still Bootstrap. It's just a way to make your website look much better. And that's what we're going to do to our website. It's really, really simple as you'll see here, and it's free, which is awesome. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to install Bootstrap, just how complicated this is. Basically, you just want to follow the steps here at the getting started guide in the introduction. So all I got to do is copy this link to this style sheet, which is a link to a bunch of CSS. I'm going to close everything, close all this stuff, close this, close. I want to go to templates, go to my base.html file, and as you can see in the instructions, it says copy and paste this style sheet link into the head of your website. So with Django, this is awesome because we only have one header. Everything else is just swapped out through the body. So all I need to do is add this to the header right here, and then the last kind of step here is this JavaScript stuff. So I just need to copy this, and it says to add this to the very bottom of your closing body tag, which would mean it would mean just down here. So that would be it. That would be all I need to install Bootstrap. Now I pressed Control S to save it. Now let's take a look at our website and see how much it improved. So right away, you notice the font has changed. It's more bubbly. The forms have changed. There's not a lot of difference because we're not making use of a lot of the Bootstrap things that are available, but right off the bat, it already looks better. So now before we work on kind of implementing some more advanced Bootstrap features, I want to work on the structure of our project a little bit. Because right now we have kind of this header section, we have the body, and then we have this footer. Well, I'm going to break this up into snippets so it makes it easier to change things down the line. So I'm going to go into templates, and I'm going to create a new folder named snippets inside templates. Inside snippets, I'm going to create one new file named footer.html and another one, new file called header.html. And then inside of base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that's inside the header except for the title, and I'm going to put it inside of header.html. Move that in, save that. And I'm going to take everything that's in the footer, which isn't really much. I'm actually going to delete the footer, and I'm going to put it in footer.html. And I'm also going to take these scripts, so I'm cutting those, and I'm putting those, I'm going to put those right here. So I have everything separated into three files now, and now I need to write some include tags. So inside here, I'll do include snippets / header.html, and I'm going to close that off, and copy that, and I'm going to add the other one to the bottom of the body, and this is going to be the footer. I'm going to save that. I'm going to cut that HR, put that in the header, also. We're going to remove that later since we're going to be making a bunch of changes in this video, but just for now I'll leave it in there. So tab that in. There we go. So now if I look at our website, it shouldn't have changed at all. Everything should be exactly the same, but it's much, much more organized in terms of where things are kept. Now we have a clear header, we have a clear footer, and then we have a base which contains kind of the two snippets and then the content which is inside the body. Going back to the Bootstrap website, there's also a couple other things we need to do. It recommends using these meta tags, and this is going to help for mobile, the usage of your website on a mobile device. So in HTML language or in web language, that's called responsiveness. It makes your website responsive. What responsive means is if I was to open this on a phone, but I can also mimic it by shrinking it like this. What happens right now, we don't have anything in place for handling that, but later in this video and the next video, I'm going to make sure to include all that kind of stuff. So basically making your website work the same or just in a different way if someone opens it on a phone. So let's go to base.html and let's start adding some Bootstrap stuff. So I'm going to write a comment here that says body. This is going to be the main body, and I want to close this off and say end body, just to help keep things nice and organized. So inside of body, I'm going to add some styling. So style, and inside here I want to do dot main. So I'm going to create a class named main and set it to min height equals 100 VH, and height is 100%. So what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that on the website, whoops, that was the wrong link. This footer will always be at the very bottom of the page. No matter how big or small, whoops, that was the wrong window. No matter how big or small this window is, the footer will always sit at the very bottom. That's what I'm going to add here. So now wrapped around the content block, I'm going to go div and write class and call this main. And now I'm going to put the content block inside of that div. So now no matter what, this div is going to occupy the entire screen. So I'll show you what I mean. Now if I refresh this, now I have to scroll down to see the footer. So no matter what page I go to, the footer is always going to be at the very bottom of the page. And I think this is a good way to do things, because some websites you see the footer is like kind of, if the page is small, the footer will be like up here. It always looks better to have it kind of at the very bottom always, and it's better to have them scroll down a little bit than have the page kind of short, and it just doesn't look right, I don't think. So this is a good way to kind of set that up so it's consistent all the time. So now let's work on the header. So what do we want the navigation bar to look like, basically? So one of the great things about Bootstrap is that it comes with examples. So if you go to the website and you go up to examples, you can download the source code. I've already got it downloaded, so I should have canceled that, but download it and save it somewhere on your computer so you can access it. And it contains all of these examples here. So you can use these examples and look at the HTML and basically copy it. So basically what I want to do here is I want to look through here and look for something that I like. I want to look for a navigation bar that I like. The one that I've selected is this one. So this is the example that I want to copy. I want to have a navigation bar that looks just like this. So I've already got the examples open on my computer. This is where I've got it saved. Once you save it, it will be saved to a folder that looks like this. You want to go inside, and I think it's in site. There's somewhere. There they are. There's the examples. So site docs 4.3 examples. And then these are all the examples that show on the page right here. So I can go in here and I can find the one named pricing. That's the one that I'm interested in. So if I scroll down, there's pricing. Here is the CSS, and then here is what it looks like. If I double click, it will open, and this is what it looks like with no CSS. So I can close this, go back to here, and I can right click and open this with Notepad, bring this over here. And what I want to do is I want to copy the navigation bar. So this part right here should be the navigation bar, and this part right here. So if you look at the example, if I click on it, I want this, and I also want this. I don't care about anything below. I just want basically here and up. That's the stuff that I want. So if I look at the example, that's this stuff right here. So if I copy that, go back to my project, go into the header, and I want to paste this into my header. So I'm going to paste that in. And now I also need the CSS. So if I go back to the folder, go into pricing, this is the CSS. I'm open that with Notepad. I'm going to copy all of this CSS except for the font size. I don't want the font size. I'm copying all this stuff, and I'm going to create a style tag inside of the header. I'm going to paste in that CSS. There we go. I don't want the font size. I can actually get rid of, I guess I can leave that. Okay. So let's add that in there. So saving that. So now I have, well, if I refresh, you'll definitely see some changes on the website. So there we go. We have that exact example that I copied. So now all I need to do is kind of adapt what we have on our website. So this stuff, I need to add it to the bar. So let's go back to Sublime Text, and let's change this to fit our needs. So this is what we were using before. So somehow we need to basically adapt this to what we see up here. So the first thing I want to do is right here, if a user is authenticated, instead of saying the company name, I want to say hello and whatever that user's name is. So I'm going to take this basically. So I want to cut that, and where the company name is, I'm going to put this up here, but I also need to check if the user is authenticated. So if the user is authenticated, then I want to say hello and if. There we go. So now if I save that and I go to the website and I log in, so I'll just log in here. There we go. Now up here it says the username and it's logged in. Keep in mind that this isn't going to look right. Remember, actually this pricing stuff I actually want to put in the body. I don't want to put, because I don't want it to show on every page. So I'm going to cut this out, this pricing header, save that, and I want to put that into the body. So in personals, home, that's where I want to put this right here. So if I save that, go back, that should take it out of, should take that. Oh, I only want to show that on the home screen. Yeah. So only on the home screen that's going to show. If I go to account or I go anywhere else, that doesn't show. All right, so now let's finish adapting this to the navigation bar. So let's go back into header. And once again, we're going to have two kind of cases here. So if the user is authenticated and then if they're not authenticated. So if the user is authenticated and if they're authenticated, then we're going to have some stuff in here. And these links are going to be, actually it'll be like just these ones right here. So I can copy those and I'm going to paste them in there. So if the user is authenticated, that's what we want. Otherwise, so I'll do an else, and I don't need these separators anymore, so I can delete those. Otherwise, I want these links. So I'm going to copy that, put those there, don't need the separators anymore. And that should be good. So I can get rid of this now. I can get rid of the HR, and that should be our navigation bar. So let's go back to the website, refresh it, and now there's our navigation bar. It doesn't quite look right. We still have to fix some things, and that sign up button also shouldn't be there. So let's go back. I'm going to move the login to the middle, and I'm going to make a register button. So I'll change this to, I'm going to copy this class. So I'm taking this class, pasting it in there, getting rid of this button. So that's going to make it look like a button. It'll be like a register button. If I save it, take a look, log out, there's that register button. Log in. So still doesn't quite look right. So let's go back to Sublime Text, and I need to change the class. So these had different classes. So this should be P2, which means padding 2. It's going to add 2 pixels of padding around the entire thing. Text dark. This is all Bootstrap stuff, by the way. So you can find this in the documentation on the Bootstrap website. The different classes that are available and different styling. It's all just very, very simple ways to do things. So I've added, all of them have a padding of 2 and given them a text format of dark. So if I refresh that, then there we go. Now we have that all kind of set up. I can log out, log in. The navigation bar looks much better. So now let's go back to Sublime Text, and I think this is done for the header, and I can actually just give this a name, header, and do, just so it's more organized, and header. So now that's pretty much the header. So now we can move on to the home page. What do we want the home page to look like? Well, right now, if we go to the home page, this is it right here. We have pricing and then some text here. So what can we change this to better kind of suit our website? All right, so let's do, it's gonna have, this pricing header is a class that's already created in Bootstrap, so I'm gonna leave that. I wanna give it a different name, so Coding with Mitch blog, and then the text in here, I can say something like, in this course, you'll learn how to build a simple blog with user registration and blog. So blog, create, retrieve, update, and delete functionality. So we're going to be able to create blog posts. Django is a powerful framework, and you'll see why in this course. So now if I go back to our website, Coding with Mitch blog, we have like something that's more meaningful being printed to the homepage. Whoops, that was the wrong Sublime text. So now I want to add a container for like kind of the middle content of the website. So div class container. Again, you can read more about this on the Bootstrap website, or even look on YouTube for like a beginner's course on Bootstrap, and you'll learn more about the stuff that I'm doing. I don't really want to waste time talking too much about Bootstrap because I want to focus on implementing the functionality for the website. Now I'm going to write dflex. So this is using something called Flexbox, which is Bootstrap oriented. Again, I encourage you. I'll write a little comment here. It says Flexbox. I encourage you to look up Flexbox and like to get more information on it. Again, I'm not going to be talking about it in this course because I want to focus on functionality stuff. This is just to make it kind of look decent enough so that it doesn't look like crap. And there we go. So now we have a container which will kind of bring everything into the center. I'm giving it a deflex so it'll be responsive, and giving it a flex of column. So let's take a look now, refresh that, and everything gets kind of brought into the center. Also notice everything is responsive. So the website kind of adapts as I shrink it or as I grow it. Look at the navigation bar. Look at the middle content. Everything adapts as it gets smaller and smaller. So that's what would happen if the user looked at it on a phone. Now the last part is going to be the footer. So I need to apply some Bootstrap formatting to the footer and bring it into the center. So let's go to our footer. So right now we don't really have anything. So I'm going to delete the HR. We don't need that. I'm going to add some styling. So style, and inside here I'm going to add a class, some styling to a class named footer. I'm going to say minimum height is 100 pixels. So the footer will at least occupy 100 pixels. I'm going to create a div, of course, with the class of footer. So I'll go deflex, flex row, which is the opposite of flex column. So there's flex column and there's flex row. Again, I encourage you to look up like a beginner's Bootstrap course and learn more about that stuff. Align line items center, and then I'm applying that footer styling right here that I specified. So now I'm going to put this inside of here. So it's going to have a minimum height of 100 pixels, and I will add some comments here. It says footer, and copy this and do end footer. And what else do I want to do? I want to add the HR tag to kind of separate it. Okay, so let's refresh. I save that, and I'm going to refresh, take a look, and looks like that's still not centered. That should have centered because I have align items center, I have flex row, deflex. All of this should have put it in the center. So sometimes with Bootstrap, don't get discouraged if it's not doing what you want it to do. Sometimes it's very simple. Like a lot of the time, if you try and center something, Bootstrap like applies margins behind the scene, and if you don't set margin equals auto, it won't center. So let's see if that fixes it. No, that didn't do it either. So you can see that footer is still not centering in the middle of the screen. Also too, another thing you can do is if you're unsure of like what the columns look like or what the rows look like, you can put a border on them and then you can take a look. So if you do a border 1 pixel solid black, and then that will allow you to see what it looks like. See, now I have a border there, so I know what the size of that should be. So I know that there's something wrong with what I'm doing. I'm guessing that it's the margin. So if I go here and I go class margin auto, that I'm guessing will do it because it will give an automatic margin to this paragraph and it will center it. Yeah, there we go. So that's kind of a trick when you're trying to debug. Add borders, try and figure out if it encapsulates the entire thing or if it just encapsulates a piece of it. And if you're trying to center something, setting the margin to auto usually is a good thing to try. So there is our website. It looks a lot better. There's still some screens, like we haven't done the account screen. We haven't done the registration screen. So if I go to there, this is still doesn't have any Bootstrap. The login screen doesn't have any Bootstrap. But if you look at the screens that we did work on, they look a lot better. You know, the navigation bar looks a lot better. The home screen looks a lot better. The footer looks a lot better. Obviously, it doesn't look incredible, but for what we did, for the 10 minutes that we spent working on it, or 20 minutes that we spent working on it, it looks significantly better than the beginning of this video. So now in the next video, we'll work on the other screens, which means the register screen, the account screen, and the login screen.